We are defined from different scientific point of view that how there is an existence of God. So I would like to ask any of you if somebody would like to challenge that God does not exist, or all of you are convinced, yes, there is a personality God, we don't know his name yet. He exists and he's the one who has designed, who has created, who has who is organizing the whole creation of this material world. Any of you would like to challenge this? Any of you would like to have any discussion over this before we move forward?
Namaste, Nichigopal. This is Lakshmi.
Yes.
I wish I could say God does not exist because I never seen him. People say God is in everyone, and we pray to Rama, Krishna, and so many goddesses. I was taught God is there in that picture, and He takes care of you if you pray to Him. I'm just following the belief what I was taught by my parents, but I'm not sure. But I don't want to say that God does not exist because being a Hindu, that's against my dharma. But yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what you're saying is, yes, you really does not have any solid reason to believe that God exists. At the same time, you can't deny that because you have your own religion, you have your own culture, you have your own value system. You don't want to go against that, but still you're dicey whether God really exists or does not exist.
Agree with you, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is said that there was some scientific conversation which says that it require more logic to prove God does not exist than to prove God exists. Because existence of God is so evident in our creation that each and every aspect of our reality is being protected, is being managed, is being conserved by the creator. For example, let us take one small example. We'll discuss only one example before we move into the topic. Let us take the example of a water cycle. So what is water cycle? We know that 70% of our body is made up of water, and water is the most essential element which will make us sustain in this world. We can live without food, but we can't live without water, right? So now, if you see the proportion, 70% of the earth is covered by water, isn't it? Isn't it fascinating? And not only covered by water, and it is said that if the water, if we just keep the water for a long time, it will become stale. You can't really drink it. But the 70% of the water is in the ocean, and ocean is salty in nature, and salt is preservative of water. Salt would not let the water go bad or go stale or undrinkable. Salt will protect it. So then we have sun. Sun will evaporate the water from the ocean. And then we have the wind. Wind will take the clouds, which is a formation of water in a cloud form. The wind will carry the clouds. At the right place, water will fall so that we can consume water from the groundwater. So see the creation, in this creation, let's say if there was no water, let's say there was water but it was not salty in nature. Let's say the water is salty but there is no sun. Okay, sun is there but there is no wind. Can we really sustain? No. So uh, even science can't really prove, as Alkaj is saying, that God does not exist. Another example, the nature of water. The water itself has a property that any element has property that if it's been condensed, its density keeps increasing. If it is cooled down, it will become heavier. Water does become heavier when it is condensed till 4 degrees Celsius. After 4 degrees Celsius, it start expanding. And because the water is expanding, so it becomes lighter than the water. And because it becomes lighter than the water, it can float on the water. So when the during winter time, when the ocean it become freezing temperature outside, the ocean get freezed. But because ice is lighter than the water, the ice will float on the water. So that floating will become a shield and it will not allow the water inside the ocean to freeze. And because the ocean inside the water will not freeze, the aquatics can exist there. So just because of one small anomalous behavior of water, we have the whole aquatics existence existing. I can just go on and on with the multiple examples that how the creation is being designed in such a way that it's become difficult to prove that God does not exist. Okay. That was a brief discussion we wanted to have from a previous session because many of you had suggested that there was some difficulty in understanding of the last topic. Just sort of clearing something here. So now let us move to the next topic, and the next topic is about our own self. And what is our self? Our self is, let me play the here. So the philosophy we are going to discuss is very, very important. And the reason is this is covered in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about Sankhya philosophy. So the difference between our understanding of the world, let me play. Yeah. So there are two ways the material world can be looked upon from the perspective of Vedas or from the perspective of science. When science look at this world, they look at the zooming in picture. They work in the micro details like atoms, proton, electrons, even keep bifurcating that. So they believe in reductionist philosophy, reductionist, mechanistic, deterministic philosophy. It means they wants to go go micro, do micromanagement, break it more and more, more and more. That is science philosophy. When the Vedas sees this world, they sees this world from a holistic perspective. They see this world from where we can understand about the perspective, right perspective about life. What is this material world made up of, and how we can use it for our purposes, and we can utilize it for our own benefits rather than getting lost in the nitty gritty of things. Sometimes we may get so lost into the micro picture that we may lose the macro reality. And when we lose the macro reality, we are not able to bring together different pieces of the puzzle. You know, so that is what the Vedas talks about. So when the Vedas sees this body, they see. So one example, what I always discuss is this example of a car, just to give you an idea that how the science and the Vedas understanding about this world is so different. Let's say, for an example, you have one car, and this car you have rented for one day. Let's say you are on vacation, and by chance you could have a free upgrade on your rental agreement, and you could get a 7-seater Mercedes or BMW car. Very, very interesting. So now you can do two things with the car. Nice Mercedes and let's say Benz, the highest top model, free upgrade, only for one day. So what would you like to do with that car? Two things you can do. One thing is, what you can do is you can see each and every detail of the car. What the engine looks like, what are the different features of the car, and just start disassembling it and again assemble it back, understand each and every aspect of the car and each and every detail of the car. That is one thing we can do with a car, right? The other thing what we can do is we can see how the car works, the basic functioning. Where is a brake? Where is a Bluetooth? How do I change the gears? Different basic functionality of a car which can help you driving the car. So which do you think is a better way of using the car? Just getting lost with the car, or using it for your own purposes and just come back, go to the destination and come back and just return the car back? What do you all think? Which is a better way of using the car? So now the real thing is we have to use the car, not get lost with the car. Sometimes it does happen. We get so lost with the car that we forget what is the destination. Science does like that, or the modern philosophies or the materialistic ideas does like that. Okay, that was example. So now, after studying this example, let us move forward. The Sankhya philosophy analyzes this world from a Vedic perspective, from the holistic perspective, from the perspective that we can use the car for the maximum optimized utilization. So, according to this philosophy, we have two types of bodies. According to the science, we have this body which has lungs, liver, kidney, internal organs, and medical sciences kept on disintegrating and seeing into the each and every organ of the body. But Sankhya philosophy does not define like this. Sankhya philosophy have different ways of perspective. It says that our body is made up of two types of bodies. One is known as gross body and one is known as subtle body. What do you mean when I say gross body? Gross body means the body which we can see from our naked eyes. And the body which we cannot see from our naked eyes is a subtle body, which is inside us. And we'll see what is that, this subtle body, what we are talking about here. So let us see this gross body configuration, the configuration of this car, which we defined in the first section itself, that this body can be compared to a car. That's why we took the example of a car. So let us see the externals of this car, how they are made up of. It's going interesting now. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 4th verse, about the physical fabrication of this body. He says this verse, Bhumir apo analo vayu kham mano buddhir evacha ahankar iti yamme binna prakatin astrita. So Krishna says that this body is made up of five elements. Physical body. It is made up of these five elements. What are these elements? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So now how this body is made up of these five elements? Somebody can question that. I don't see earth in this body. I don't see water in the body. I don't see fire in the body. Where is all of that? Can somebody say where is earth in this body? This bones is very earthly in nature. If you take the bones and you just bury it, it will become like a earth, isn't it? If you bury the body in different culture, we have different way of not disposing, but burning the body. Somebody burns the body, dead body. Somebody bury them under the ground. So if you see after some time, what happens? It becomes earth. Body has earthly component. Then earth, water. There are different kind of fluids in the body, like blood and the semen and different kind of fluid is flowing in, saliva and things like that. Tears, wax, mucus, the water in the eyes and cerebral fluid and things like this. Our body is full of fluid. Water, air, water, fire. I can't see fire in my body. But when you become sick, when we become sick, what happens? Our body temperature rises. When it rises, it means there's a fire. And also we see that acid, the acid of the bile juice, which is acidic in nature, which helps us digesting the food, which is acidic in nature. Acidic means it is have more fiery content into that. So fire does not only mean, just give me a second.
వచ్చినప్పుడు తినడు కొంచెం టీచర్ వచ్చే లోపల
I'm so sorry. So yeah, we were discussing that how in this in this stomach we have this acid, digestive fire. We have this, Krishna says, the Agni, Udragni. In Ayurveda we say it Udragni. So if we don't have fire in the stomach, fire in the belly, we can't digest. The fire is there. The blood has fire. So different aspect of our body have different types of fires. When it increases, temperature increases, the fire becomes more warmer. Somebody's body have natural warmth. You can see that. Somebody's body have natural coldness in their skin. So it's because of the temperature rise and fall, because of their nature, basic nature. So then you have the air, because we have different types of airs. We are breathing in and breathing out. Like this is air. And the we belch. There are 10 kinds of airs according to Ayurveda. I won't go into the detail of it, but there are 10 kind of airs. One kind of air is which is breathing in, breathing out. That is air. And then we have the space, the ether, in which the whole body is lying, is situated. So we have the earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's how our body is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Now going further, so in our system, we also have that is known as gross body, okay? And the gross body is made up of these five elements, but the gross body have senses. So now that is a question for all of you. How many senses do we have?
Five, 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 actually.
We have five senses.
Five. Yes.
Can you please name all of the five senses? Which all senses we have in our body?
Touch,
Taste,
smell. Somebody's telling me.
Touch, taste,
and visual.
smell, visuals. Okay.
Taste,
Hear,
see.
see. By the way, these are not
Hearing.
senses.
Hearing.
Hearing is sense object, not the senses. Ear is a sense. Eyes are the sense, is a sense. Nose is a sense. Tongue is a sense. Skin is a sense. So I'm getting a lot of answer here. Five senses: touch, taste, hear, smell. These are all sense objects. We'll see the differentiation between both of them. Let me know at any point of time it is going into more in detail. I would like to explain more, go slow, but that is very interesting topic. So what's happening here is, if you see, we have 10 senses, not 5. So these are the 10 senses you can see. And I would like you to understand the difference, why they are categorized into two sections, and what is the reason for that.
Working senses, knowledge. Working senses, knowledge acquiring senses. Hands, legs, voice, genital, rectum. Knowledge
Are you able
acquiring
to
senses.
differentiate what are the difference between these two categories? There's a clear difference you're able to make out.
Knowledge acquiring senses will acquire the what we see, what we hear, what we smell, all to the brain. These working senses will work according to the brain.
Yes, 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 yes. Interestingly, the working senses and knowledge acquiring senses, they can be compared to input and output system. What do I mean when I say input and output system? If you see the input, what is input here?
Knowledge acquiring.
Yes, input is knowledge acquiring senses, because we take input from our eyes, we take information in through our ears, we take information in through our nose and tongue and skin. Like input, we're taking information in. Through eyes we see what's happening, through ears we hear, through our nose we smell, through our tongue we taste, through our skin we touch. So all these information we are absorbing, and the mind, the internal body software processes that. Software is a process, the subtle body, the software is a processor which is processing this input. And based upon these inputs, our external body, like hands and legs and speech and rectum and genitals, they action, output. So input and output, input and output. Like a very beautiful mechanism this is, isn't it? Like a very beautiful designed and sophisticatedly designed robotic system in that way. So now with this, we have the connected sense objects. So what we are talking is this. The eyes can see the form, the ears can hear the sound, the nose can smell the fragrances, the tongue can taste the food, the skin can touch the things. If you see our whole world, our whole world of enjoyment is only made up of these 20 categories. 5 gross elements, 5 karmendriyas, 5 gyanendriyas, 5 taste, 5 sense objects. In this world, we are living in, the experience of life. In this world, the experience of life is only to maximize the beautiful vision. I can see beautiful things, I can taste beautiful things, I can hear more melodious thing, I can smell something more fragrant, I can touch something soft. That gives us happiness, that gives us pleasure. Our whole life is centered around interaction between senses and sense object, senses and sense object. The whole philosophy, the whole philosophy of life, the whole philosophy of research work of scientists is somehow or other maximize the different quality of these sense objects so that we can take pleasures through our eyes, through our ears, through our nose, through our tongue, or through our skin. Any doubt still here? The whole experience of life is only centered around these interaction happening here. But the question is it all in all, or do we have something else in the place which you are missing out here? Now I will put one situation. And the situation is that we'll dwell more into detail later on. And the situation is, let's say you like gulab jamun very much, and that is a like your sweet dish that you like the most. But this gulab jamun, somebody comes with a very angry mood. Let's say your mother comes with a very angry mood and starts scolding you, start abusing you, and then say, "Okay, like eat this, you foolish fellow, eat this." So when you eat this gulab jamun, would you be able to have that taste from gulab jamun? Or will you be able to relish that gulab jamun?
No.
Why? There is something. I
Magic.
gave you the hint, we are missing something. And what is that something? What we are missing is the software. What we are missing is the software. There is software here. You may like gulab jamun, I may hate gulab jamun. It is same gulab jamun touching the same tongue. Based upon what? My liking, my disliking, my talents, my skills, my different behaviors. What drives that? It is known as the subtle body. It is known as the software of the system. Software is the subtle body, which is made up of three things, which is made up of mind, intelligence, and false ego. We have the mind, but can we see the mind? We can't see the mind, but we have mind. We also have intelligence. Can we see the intelligence? No, we can't see the intelligence. Apparently, all of us are have same kind of physical structure, but our capability to absorb information, to process information may differ. Somebody would see the numbers very quickly, they will be able to analyze and able to see what these numbers speaks. But a person like me who just get lost in numbers won't be able to make anything out of numbers. So you have the intelligence to deal with the number. I don't have the intelligence. And the mind is then ego, identity. And we would see there's a beautiful theme which comes out of it, that a person may look at same thing, but because of his different taste or different identification, can respond differently. Identity. For example, there's a India and let's say Pakistan match is going on, and there is a cricket match which is very pleasant to see, very exciting, and the Indian batsman got out. Same event happened, and one Indian and one Pakistani was watching the match. So, do you think both of them will have same response? No. Although event happened is the same event what happened for both of us, but the response would be different. Why? Because I have the identity that I am Pakistani, I have the identity that I am Indian, I have the identity that I am American, I have the identity that I am this. Actually, but if you see, we are not that identity. We are spirit soul. Today you might have born in India, tomorrow you may born in US, day after tomorrow you can born in Korea, you can born in China, you can born in Japan, we can born anywhere. So just because of that identity, we react, we speak, we do things differently. And based upon my identification, my intelligence will function, accordingly my brain will work, and accordingly my emotions will get generated from the mind. So mind generates emotions, intelligence process the information, and identity speaks in what way we should process and in what way we should feel. Now the identity can be I am a woman. That is identity. That is not my real identity. My real identity is that I am spirit soul. But because I have different types of body, we start identifying with that, and we say, oh, I have, because I have the woman's body, so I'm a woman. Actually, you are not woman, I am not man. We are a spirit soul, you are a spirit soul. It's just that we have different coverings over the soul. And they have two types of covering, subtle covering and gross covering. If somebody is sitting inside Tesla car, oh, I am Tesla. I'm 2010, I'm 2020 model. I'm white in color. The same person may move to Chevrolet. Oh, I'm Chevrolet. I am 2019 model. I am gray in color. The same person can go to different car, Hyundai. Oh, I am Hyundai Tucson. I am gray in color. I am 2023 model. Same person can keep going to different cars. Does the person changes? No.
No.
Person does not change. The car keep changing. So this body is only a car. So now I will give an example how this works. I can go very too much into the detail of this subject matter, but I'm just giving an example. So for an example, now I'm sitting here, okay, and I'm talking to someone. Let's say I'm talking to my mother. So I would be talking as a son, right? When I'm talking to my mother, immediately my friend call me immediately, and I'm speaking to my friend now. Do you think I will continue to speak to my friend the way I was speaking to my mother?
Not at
No.
all.
Let's say now I'm speaking to my employee. Do you think I'll be speaking in the same way the way I'm speaking to my friend?
No.
No. Let's say I'm speaking to my student. Would I be speaking the same way? No.
No.
So what is changing here? Why my behavior is changing? Why my feelings are changing? Why my way of responding is changing?
Depends, your relationship to that person is different. It also.
Relationship defines what? My identity. In one case, I become a son from my mother. In one case, I become a friend from my friend. In one case, I become a teacher. In one case, I become somebody else. I'm the same person, can take up different identities. I can become different things. I have that capability to become. So because of this ego, how my intelligence will function will change, how my ego mind will function will change. The emotions will change immediately the moment my ego changes. So it's all about ego. It's about a false ego. So if we remove this covering of false ego, then automatically my real spiritual spark can sprout up and blossom and can penetrate through this body, and I can live a more meaningful, deeply enriching, more happier, peaceful life as a spirit soul. Because these are all the nature of a spirit soul. So the mind processes emotions. Yeah, they both are same. Ego and identity are same. Yeah.
No, thank you.
So the mind generates emotions, intelligence process the information, and the ego gives the shade in what way we should perceive the information and we should process it. So ego become the top, then intelligence, then the mind, and then the body. Like a hierarchy it is. So any question? Any doubt? Anybody have? Anything anyone would like to ask here?
Prabhuji, we can't be like, especially until I do lot of japa or a meditation or something. I can't be like, I'm talking about myself. I can't be in that state of mind that I am this body. Like, either I practice or I do more chanting, only then I can think like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you're saying it's not easy to always be in that identity that I'm a spirit soul. It's difficult unless you practice it for a long period of time. And that is true because we have been conditioning so thickly from our childhood that condition is been happening. So it's difficult to deprogram it. So a subtle body, the software is being programmed in a certain way. So it's not easy to remove this programming. And that needs time. That would need time, and that would need a lot of purification, that would need a lot of practice, that would need a lot of lot of sadhana and things like that, which can purify your ego and you can really experience yourself to be as a spirit soul. It's not easy, it would take time. Any other doubt? Anybody have anything would like to ask anything? If you don't ask, then I'm going to ask questions. So
I just
now,
want to ask, yeah, I just want to ask like what we can when we are like how we can change our identity, like sorry, how can we keep our identity same or ego same when we are like I'm a mom, so when I'm talking to my kids, when I'm talking to my mom, so at that point, because I have this body, so my body, like I have to act according to it. So like I just I'm confused how to think about just that I am a spirit, and how can I have the same thinking or same way, I treat them same as same, that I'm just a spirit soul.
so now, as you're rightly pointing out, that if we don't have this identity, how can we really function in this world properly? Because
Yes.
I am a spirit soul, I am not a mother, then how can I cater to the needs of my children? How can I behave like a wife to my husband? How can I become like a sister to my brother? It will all be break, everything will be vanish, isn't it? Very threatening, very, in a way, very a difficult situation to bear. So I'm not saying that. You don't have to do that. There are something known as primary identity and something known as secondary identity. The primary identity should be that I am a spirit soul. And we can have secondary identities just to function in this world. For an example, I want to see this world, right? Which is as it is, which has its own original color. So if I wear the black glasses, how the world will appear to me? Black. The world will become black for me. If I wear red glasses, how the world will become to me?
Right.
Red
Yeah.
world. If I wear yellow glasses, yellow world. But is the world yellow, red, or black? None of this. So I can know that how the real world is from my primary identity, that is I am a spirit soul, and based upon that reality, I can pick up different identities which can help me functioning better in this world.
Thank you for clearing that.
So we can have primary identity as a spirit soul, and then I can become mother, I can become father, I can become, but you don't get lost into that. When I say lost, when you, as a mother, I can feel pain. I feel a lot of pain as a mother. You don't have to experience that pain. You can just let go of that because you're not mother anyways. So
I'm
when
not.
we make one part of me as a whole, that's where the problem comes. I should not make one part of my reality to be the complete reality. That is a very powerful principle I'm giving to all of you. We should not let one part of me rule the whole. My one part is one part. I'm a mother, only one part of me is a mother. I'm not complete mother. I have different identity role to play. And originally I'm a spirit soul. So sometimes what happens when the children, I have seen a lot of things, situation like that. When the childrens are not respecting, they are not listening to parents, they are not doing what they should be doing, they are not studying properly. The parents can become, it can be like whole life gets shattered for them. But no, they don't have to, because yes, as a mother, I might have failed. As a father, I might have failed. In a professionally, I might have failed. But that does not define my whole personality. That is only one part of me, and that is also functional. That is also conditional in nature. My real identity is I am a spirit soul. My permanent position is, and I'm part of divine, and I'm always divine. Hope this gives you clarity.
Thank you.
Any other doubts? Any other questions anybody has? Okay, let me ask all of your questions then. Okay. Now there's a small quiz for all of you. I have skipped a lot of identities like slides here. How many types of bodies we have? One, two. We are the body, none.
One.
How many types of bodies we have? One or two?
Two.
One.
Two.
One.
The answer is two. We have two types of bodies. We have gross body and we have subtle body. Which of the following our gross body is made up of?
Not made
Not made up of.
Not made up of. The trick is not made up of. Earth,
Mind.
water,
mind.
yeah, our
Mind.
gross body is not made up of mind. It is made up of earth, water, fire, air. Which of the following our subtle body not made up of?
Intelligence.
Either.
Ether.
The answer is ether.
Ether.
Ether. Answer is ether.
Either.
Which is the deciding factor of our actions? Gross body, mind, intelligence, or false ego?
False ego.
False ego.
False ego.
Yes. We will conclude here. If you're still open to the questions answer. Anybody have anything to say? Okay. Anybody would like to share their important points, what they have learned from today's discussion, and what stuck with them, what they would like to practice, and what they would like to, that was very new for them. Anybody would like to share something? Anybody would like to share their one striking point, one learning, one pearl of wisdom, anything?
I learned today like we should not be using, because like one part should not like rule the whole part. That's what I have learned today. So we are different at different. We have different perspective when we are with different people, but we are just one. And then that's what I have learned today.
Beautiful, beautiful. You have learned that we should not let the one part of me rule the whole part of my existence.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Algaji. Anybody else?
Yes,
would like
I
to
learned today like senses, about the senses.
about senses?
10 senses. Yeah, like I don't know the difference, like input and output like this. So I learned that.
Okay,
It's really interesting.
thank you very much. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Yes, the
Arjun?
same thing. Like I want to, because I'm a science teacher. So when you ask the question that how many senses are there, I teach the five senses. But now I have one more thing to teach, that what is the input system and what is the output system. I'm going to add it to my lesson in my science.
Very good, very good. You can incorporate that.
Probably, yeah, that's because till now we were listening from childhood, we have only five senses. But today you have made it more clear that it's more like 10 senses in a nice way. Yeah.
Arjun, yes. What is your point?
If your one part rules your body, and what is the difference and what's the outcome?
That is a question, that if one part of you rule your body, then what's the difference in outcome?
Yeah.
Is that your question, Arjun? I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, it is a question.
See what happens if one part of me rule the whole. For example, let us take example. You like to eat pizza, okay? And you like to eat, it gives you very good taste of the tongue. And then let me eat as much as slices I want for the satisfaction of tongue. Let me eat 10 pizzas. Okay, let's imagine you can eat that. What are going to be the consequence of that? Your stomach will be upset.
Stop.
You may get disease. Your whole body can become weak, and you may not be able to function properly. So just because of one sense of tongue of eating more pizzas, your whole body will suffer. Makes sense to you, Arjun, that how this example, that just simply by tasting good food should not rule the whole world. The second example, let's say for an example, you're a student, and student is one of your identity. I'm a student. But if you think that if I am not a good student, then it is a end of my life. I am not a good person if I'm not a good student. So if you think that if I'm not a good student, and if I don't get the 90% or 95% or whatever gradation system they have here, then would it define my whole personality? Oh, I'm not a good person. If I'm not a good person, I should not exist. My whole existence is shattered. My whole existence is threatened. Then what would I think? Oh, let me commit suicide. Let me die. Because I'm not a good student. Because I'm not a good student, that's why I don't deserve to live. Actually, many people think like this and they committed suicide. Many people think since because I'm not a good professional, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good mother, I'm not good this, so there is no point in existing in this world itself. And they just can devastate themselves. Most of the psychological issues comes because we think I am not good enough. As a mother, as a father, as a professional, as a teacher, as a whatever it is. So if, what are you doing? We are allowing one part of me to rule my whole. Make sense to you, Arjun?
Yes. Wait, what
Make-
if the outcome is good? Can that happen?
I'm sorry.
Can the outcome of your one part ruling your body can be good at sometimes?
Uh, you can be very passionate, but that passion can brings its own kind of pain. It can be good. Oh, I'm just a student, I have to just study. It's good if we use it in the right way. Actually, it's never a good because uh, just by saying, okay, because I live in one room and that is only house. Your house may have your house may have 15 rooms, right? But you're living in one room. Just because there is some problem in one of the room, which I am living, the whole house has to be demolished. No. Only one room is bad, right? You can go to different room. Yeah, if you become too much this thing, then you can take care of that room so perfectly. Okay, this is the whole house. Let me keep it very spick and span. Let me clean it. Let me have the best of the interiors in that. Yeah, you can excel in one aspect of your life. That is only one advantage. But the other danger with that is, if you only focus on that passion that I want to make it good, and you are able to make it good, but if something wrong happen in that area, you will be devastated again. The only good thing happen is you can excel in that area, but same probability that you may not excel in that area. But if you do not excel in that area, your life is finished for yourself. But if you maintain that this is one part of me, and then I can, if something wrong happen in this, I will put my 100% in that. That's, I'm not saying we should not put our 100% as a student. We should do that. But in that case, what is happening is I'm limiting my enjoyment. I'm limiting my experience only to the one room, because I'm always living in the one room of a house which has 15 rooms, which has a big swimming pool, which has a dining area, which has a living room. So you are missing out on the experience of the whole room just because you are thinking that this is the only room. Able to get what I'm saying, Arjun? So if we get stuck only with one room, then I will not be able to relish the whole house, because I have paid for the whole house. I'm just living in a one room. The experience get limited. The experience gets limited to only one part of your existence. And that is very dangerous, because if I don't have this, I don't have anything. And not that always you will have everything of that area. But the modern world is on that. You have to become this. If you don't achieve this, your life is finished. Actually, they become, I would say 99.9% of psychological diseases, emotional pain is because of this reason. Not being able to distinguish between your identity and yourself.
True.
The moment you can separate yourself from that identity, you can be all blissful.
But the
Thank you.
material world, the people we live, the society we live in, they measure you with those kind of things.
Yeah, you will be measured by society in their own scales, in their own yardsticks of their own, how they are successful, how they are not successful. For society, if you are not a successful as a student, then you are a failure. And actually, your life is failure. You can be very depressed. So it has its own repercussions of having that kind of passionate and highly motivated kind of mindset. Balancing is important. Anybody else? I think it is triggering a lot of thought process, a lot of food for thoughts for all of you. And we'll conclude here. Thank you very much, all of you. We'll meet again.